Oh, hi there everyone. This is the first video I made for YouTube in a few weeks. I've not been feeling too great physically of late. Anyway, last video I made was about my Golden Knights jersey that I had just bought. Got it the day that my store downtown was allowed to sell it. It was $10 cheaper there too, which was, really cool. Yeah, this jersey's awesome. And I still wear it proudly. And I say still because it is a little bit awkward. It shouldn't be, but it is because of what happened in Las Vegas recently. And that's a real shame. I mean, it's a terrible thing to happen. I mean, I shouldn't have to say that, but, I'm saying it because it does reflect on the city. And unfortunately, if people look at the city that way, they're not going to be buying Vegas Golden Knights tickets and jerseys. That's the reality. And I understand that this is quite a scary topic to mention on the internet, but I look back at my old videos on my old channel and I go, well, I've said controversial things before, so this is just an opinion, a theory I'm working on. I think there was more at work with the massacre that happened in Vegas. I really wish, as any rational, normal person would, that these horrible things never happen, and guys like the man responsible for that, he should have been stopped long ago. And I don't quite understand it. Like, I watched a little bit of the news about it. I didn't do my research, okay, so whatever. They mentioned, basic sort of stuff. I saw the representative speak on the television. He was very, very sincere, very, he's on this, that's his thing. Very respectable person. I forget what his name was. He was the spokesman for the police on the television for Canadian news. I don't even remember if it was CBC. I guess it was CBC that it was on. Because I only, watch the Canadian perspective of things. I don't really watch American news too much. But anyway, they said that the suspect, that they looked onto his digital footprint. They were questioning his girlfriend who had just come back from the Philippines. I think they were questioning his brother as well, and probably just about anyone who knew him. And I would hope in a rather aggressive manner, because when an individual does something like that, the people around that individual take some responsibility, because they may not have done it, but they may have guided him along. I mean, that has to be determined by the proper authorities. The suspect, I don't even remember his name. What do I care? He had acquired 60 plus guns, and he had some sort of plan to escape too. And he was in his mid-60s, if I heard correctly. Forget it. You're not the Flash, you're not Superman, you're not all that. You ain't getting away from doing something like that. You're not Jason Bourne, Matt Damon, whatever. The guy was clearly a nut. I mean, obviously for him to have done something like that, he was clearly a nut. I'm irritated because it reflects upon the city, and the city didn't deserve that. And unfortunately, the team is associated with the city. It happened just before the organization got to play their first game. And you start to wonder things like, like Vegas put a lot of money into this team, right? Like a lot of money, like who knows how much money. And I mean, the higher up the food chain you go in society, you know, the weirder people get. Like I'm just, you know, I'm not bottom of the barrel, but like a fish at the bottom of the barrel. But you know, I'm not far off. I'm a little bit better off than some people. I can afford nice stuff, and I eat, you know, decent food like halibut every now and then. But like the people I talk to on Facebook and YouTube and things like that, they're creeps. So I don't even really want to think about how much they get creepier as you climb up higher up the food chain. Anyway, I had made videos where I said it was the Illuminati that did that. And I had mentioned that you're not going to find this sort of evidence on a Google search engine. You're just not going to. I don't know if it's just me and because I've watched a lot of Elementary with Johnny Lee Miller. Really respect that guy. That guy is awesome. I do imagine him being a bit of a prick though, but you know, whatever. And just watching him, like I've watched most of the episodes, right? So it has an effect on a person and how they think. And he's way better than Cumberbatch. Like Cumberbatch, he's a homosexual of some sorts, or I have no idea. I mean, he played an alright Smaug, but him as Sherlock, I don't know. I'm not into that. Anyway, yeah, I had how I wanted to say this video in my head a bit more proper, but I'm actually quite nervous to make this video. I don't know who's watching my my channel, so okay. What I want to say is the Illuminati, and I call them the Illuminati because I don't know what else to call them. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna call them the Illuminati. They have news feed that is beyond our comprehension. Like, you name it, they have access to it. Like wartime footage, torture videos, this, that, and the other. They have access to all this information, business practices, anything you can think of. They have the book for dummies for in video form. So, I mean, you could be 35 years old, for example, and be a doctor, got A's on every course, but there'll be somebody out there who knows everything about your job and what you do, and more. That's the reality about just about everything in this world, is that somebody out there knows more than you do. And usually it's not because they worked harder, it's just because they were privy to certain information. That's sometimes the case, and some people have a different perspective of things. They interpret information a little bit differently, and I don't know, maybe they can think of things that other people didn't think of. But part of the theory I was getting at was Las Vegas. The team is called the Golden Knights. Now, the Golden Knights was actually a German medal. It wasn't really, it was only awarded to 2 people, I believe. I only just quickly Wikipedia searched it. And it was awarded to 2 people, and I think they got it after the war, and then they reissued it in 1957 or something like that. I'm not saying that the Vegas Golden Knights associate with Nazism or anything like that, but Golden Knights, Golden Knight Medal, merit badge, there is a connection in at least the name. And the thing is, when you start climbing up to the top, people look for any excuse not to like you. And even though Golden Knights, whatever, man, like you can't use the word in a different context and it means something else. Fuck off. But people will use that as an excuse to not like you. Because people, they want excuses to not like people because there's money involved. They want to exclude people from possibly making money, so they make up excuses for doing so. Yeah, and I think this massacre that happened in Vegas, it went up higher up the food chain. Like, they obviously subliminally picked a target. This suspect who committed this atrocity in Vegas, and they manipulated him into becoming what he was. Because as I said earlier, he had a digital footprint. Obviously people knew he had guns. There were people around him who knew that they must have known that he wasn't all there. And he probably didn't know that many people, and it was probably a negative atmosphere for him, I would guess. As much as the television, will say about the matter. So what I'm trying to say is what happened could have been prevented if somebody like him had had his guns removed. I mean, it's not rocket science, people, it's just what should have happened. Because you look at the picture of him on the TV and he don't look like no mastermind. You look like an idiot. And him being an idiot, I'm sure he would have blurted stupid things on the fucking internet. He's just part of a bad crowd. Probably. And don't get me wrong, I'm not excusing him. I'm just trying to say, hey, that has nothing to do with the Vegas Golden Knights, and I will still walk down the street wearing this, and I'm not the least bit concerned about anything. I'd still go to Vegas, as a matter of fact, to have a good time and maybe gamble a little bit. I mean, I was down in the States in April. I didn't go to Vegas. I went to San Francisco and Anaheim and San Jose and things like that. I guess Vegas would be nice to go to someday. I don't know. Think about that later. But I got to thinking, suppose that this suspect was coerced into doing what he did by the Illuminati, MK Ultra, which by the way is bullshit. There's no such thing as a mind control device concocted by the CIA or whatever you want to call them. The thing is, doesn't matter how old you are, where you come from, you could be manipulated. And, you go, well, why would anyone want to manipulate someone into committing a horrible atrocity such as this? Higher up the food chain, there's somebody who lost the election in the States, Hillary Clinton, who was best buddies with Barack Obama. Now, Barack Obama introduced Obamacare. It was like one of the major achievements he was able to do while he was the president for, 8 years. Obama is genuinely looked at as a benevolent figure, well-respected, very dignified person. And a lot of people don't want to sully his name, because they don't actually know what he can and can't do. But people misunderstand what Obamacare is. You hear the rhetoric about it going, free healthcare for people, help pay for the prescriptions, insurance, all that. Sounds decent enough, but it goes further than that. Barack Obama, as the same as Donald Trump, is responsible for domestic politics. And in doing so, they have an influence over the different police stations within the country, different business practices, this, that, and the other. And a big part of Obamacare would have been everyone being treated equal, and this, that, and the other. And I'm not against equality, don't get me wrong about that, but equality comes with consequences. And unfortunately, with equality, a big part of the movement I've noticed on the television has been anti-white male bashing. Heterosexual males specifically. So the thing is, what I'm getting at is money was moving around in Vegas, right? New team getting set up with all kinds of money to set things up. Golden Knights was their name, so they probably had some white power connotations. I mean, being that they're in the National Hockey League or sports league that's primarily white. Let's get real here, people. They're probably right behind Trump and support him completely. I mean, Donald Trump is an amazing man. And I'm not saying Hillary Clinton couldn't have been an amazing president, but we'll never know. But they didn't show it so much, but she took the defeat rather bitterly. And, you know, because she lost, in a sense, Obama lost in that election too, because Obama most certainly didn't want Donald Trump getting in. So it actually doesn't make Obama look bad if a white guy in the States goes off the deep end and this happens because of it. In fact, if they could use it for propaganda purposes and like look at the degeneration of the white man, and if you have guns, you're a gun-toting maniac, and this, that, and the other. And this is what happens, because one of the things Obama wanted to do was he wanted to take people's guns away. And in some cases, that is the correct thing to do, but it's more tricky than that. Yeah, I'm sorry. When I thought this video out of my head, I was able to say it a bit better than I am now. Sounded a bit more like Sherlock in my head, but for some reason the words aren't coming out properly. Maybe a little bit stage fright going on. It's kind of a spooky topic when you think about it. Yeah, it was spooky in the sense that, like, you know, people don't know, but, you know, if someone in higher standings wants to get you, they can do it and, like, nobody knows that they got you, and you just, like, disappear. And that's, you know, that's pretty intimidating, and an easy way to do it is to, I don't know, hit him with a car and sprinkle some goofy dust on him afterwards and go, whoa, he was on crack, he was this, that, and the other. We threw him in an institution because that's where he belongs and all this other sort of stuff. or whatever. But, so, you know, me being a former mental health patient and me talking in this kind of nature on the internet where anyone can watch wouldn't be human if I wasn't a little bit nervous. I've made so many videos though of controversial nature, you know, I'm not too bothered by it. When I say not too bothered, I mean not too bothered in making the video. total brain cramp here. I really had to have cue cards or something like that so I can actually look like I put a bit of effort into this. I didn't. I'm just saying, the bottom line is what I'm saying is this kind of shit could get avoided. If not for the politics of the upper crust of fucking society. They're the ones to blame. Because they create conditions which enable despicable individuals such as the man who was in Vegas and did the atrocity that he did to do what he did. Because if he had a digital footprint, then, you know, in theory, he could have been stopped beforehand. Now, I remember the police officer who was the spokesman saying he wasn't into social media and all this and that, and I believed him, because, you know, he looked like Country Bumpkin, and, you know, he didn't want anything to do with social media, and I don't blame him, because it's, you know, it is the Wild West on the internet. It really is. You know, this wasn't going to be the video I was going to make next. But I've had a few days to think about it, but actually I was going to make a video about my counterfeit alternate Columbus Blue Jackets jersey, which I will do because it'll help me relax. Yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long because I'm getting a tad bit paranoid myself. Not quite to the point where I'm, you know, hiding under my blanket or anything like that, but, you know, I'm very sensitive. I'm like a bird in a cage, man. It wouldn't take much for someone to, you know, rattle my cage and really spook me. Don't want that. Just, you know, I'm not making light of the situation either. You know, I've not really laughed, but, you know, kind of exhaled. It is a very serious topic, but, you know, like, I think I might have a guardian angel that might be helping me out. I would really like that very much. Please, Donald Trump, if you can hear me, please do not let the Obama supporters get me and do the horrible things they may want to do. I don't know, hypothetically, I didn't hear firsthand. That would not be good for me. Anyway, yeah. How do these things happen? How? I'm all mixed up. I should have thought about making this video before I just went and did it. Because, you know, I had a brain fart about 20 minutes ago, and then I picked up the camera and started going to make a video about it. So let's summarize here. The new National Hockey League team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the people who built that organization, and, you know, obviously they wanted to make a lot of money. They wanted to, you know, really help out the city of Las Vegas. I really hope this team is successful, and that, you know, what happened just before their season opener, their very first game, doesn't affect them. And, you know, it's always going to be remembered, it's going to be part of history, but it's, you know, shouldn't be thought of that way. It doesn't have anything to do with the Golden Knights or anybody who works for the Golden Knights or anybody who works for the NHL. But I highly suspect it has something to do with the upper crust, the Illuminati, the people you never seen or heard of before. And, you know, they look at stupid people like the shooter in Vegas, and they are pawns for military, domestic, and all that sort of politics and policies. And it's, you know, it's spooky because there are so many stupid people out there, and if they ever invest the time to manipulate a particular individual into doing what it is they want them to do, then there's no telling how much terrorism there could be in the world. Because, I mean, what is your definition of terrorism? Well, some people go, well, it's, you know, people are aiming for a political goal. But terror is fear. And with that, basically, if you do a bad thing, you've, in theory, committed terrorism. You know, to whatever degree. Yeah, and as I said, the upper crust, like, they're desensitized to horrible things because they are the Darth Sidious of society. The people in the cloaks who work behind the scenes and know everything about everything, not because they're particularly smart, but because they have everyone's information. So I understand in me making this video, I, you know, didn't come off as particularly intelligent sounding, and I just sound like a douchebag, which is kind of true. But I figure it's an important video to make because in me making this video, perhaps somebody could make one of a similar nature but of higher quality. You know, so that if there are individuals who are like the shooter in Vegas, that they're stopped beforehand. It's not the government being psychic, it's not MK Ultra and mind control, it's just circumstances and information and who has that information and how easy people are to manipulate. All these factors, and they can create, you know, monsters to go do their bidding. Yeah, I mean, oh, sweet Mary and Joseph, I must sound like a complete idiot. But somehow I think this video would be cool, though. I don't know, it's just like, you know, I had the courage to say what others would cringe to do so. And for more than adequate reason, I might add. Oh, please, please, Donald Trump, if you can hear me, do not let the Obama supporters kick me in the balls. I really do not need that right now. That would be very, very bad for me. Oh. Well, I think I'm gonna leave this video at this. yeah, because there's not much else to say. You know, I basically just said a few buzzwords, you know, like Obama, Illuminati, upper crust of society, NHL, Vegas, the Vegas shootings. Then, you know, I didn't add much content to it. It's, you know, like, I got a puzzle in front of me, like everybody else, and I'm just trying to put the pieces together, that's all. You know, I hope to aspire to be as intelligent as Johnny Lee Miller one day, but I'm a far cry from that. Anyway, in the meantime, I think what I'm going to do is, probably just watch The Hobbit or something like that. Fucking relax. Fuck. Oh, well, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.